You have my undivided attention.
Have you noticed that your attention span is shorter than a goldfish? That you can't go anywhere without your phone, and procrastination is basically your lifestyle? Digital tech has caused a crisis of attention. You probably won't even finish watching this video. Hate to break it to you, but you're an iPad kid. In our interconnected world of social media, apps, and limitless supply of information, your attention is the most valuable commodity. Big tech is doing everything that they can to keep you engaged by manipulating your mind. The result is that we live in a distracted world, drowning ourselves in screens while being pulled in a million different directions. You know it's bad when you got kids popping Adderall like Tic Tacs.
What do you mean it's not Adderall? It's Adderall.
I know what Adderall looks like. It's not Adderall.
Humans have not evolved enough to deal with the kind of mental distractions we are subject to today. As more jobs have become white-collar, relying on mental output instead of physical, our ability to focus has become much more challenging. In the 1800s, if you worked on a farm providing for your family, you had to be focused on ensuring everything ran smoothly, otherwise you could starve. Going back further, if you were a caveman, you hunted, gathered, slept, and maybe did a couple ooga boogas. That's it. Now, you work in a cubicle doing zero physical labor, have an endless stream of information readily available, notifications that constantly pull away your attention, and the consequences for being distracted are way less severe. In the past, someone deeply unfocused at work meant that they starved. Being distracted today means you might not accomplish your goals, but you aren't going to die because you scroll on TikTok for 3 hours every day at work. Think about every major achievement of yours. They all required immense focus. You can't climb Mount Everest while scrolling Instagram, nor can you get into a good university by playing Candy Crush all day. With the path we are on, one of continued reduction in our ability to concentrate, those major achievements are going to become fewer and farther between. Our attention didn't collapse. It was stolen by these big companies. By now, we all know when it comes to technology, if it's free, you're the product. Your data is harvested and sold to advertisers. While that is the source of their profits, the true revenue generation is from your activity. Everything you do on social media apps like Instagram and TikTok are scanned and sorted to create a hidden profile of you. Every time you pick up your phone and use their app, they make money, and every time you put it down, their revenue stream disappears. Their entire focus is to keep you unfocused. These apps are designed to invade your attention as much as possible. Sean Parker, co-founder of Facebook, stated that they designed their site to exploit a vulnerability in human psychology. Their objective was to consume as much of your time and attention, leading to the creation of features such as the like button that would give users a little dopamine hit to encourage them to upload more content.
I'm sorry. Did you get addicted to crack? Did somebody get addicted to crack?
While social media has always been an attention seeker by design, just like cable news, they needed to come up with a way for it to be in demand 24/7. The rise of the story feature, first debuted by Snapchat in 2013, was one of the first tricks to create urgency to be on their app. Instead of waiting for your friends to eventually gather their party pics to post a few days after the event, you could post a story right away. The trick? The stories only lasted 24 hours. The idea is that stories were more casual than a traditional photo upload because it would delete itself anyways, causing people to upload more, but it also got users addicted to checking the app constantly to not miss anything before it was deleted.
Let me check my Palm Pilot. Look like I ain't doing shit.
The peak of the story craze is probably behind us now, and it's because algorithms used on platforms like TikTok have become so good at feeding us content from creators we don't know that we don't really care about what our friends post anymore. Most people have friends on social media that they wouldn't even say hi to in a grocery store, yet they follow them anyways. So what difference is it? Other rising apps have capitalized on traditional social media burnout, most notably the app BeReal. The idea is simple. Try to follow only your close friends, and every day, for a random 2 minutes, everyone is required to post a photo of what you are doing. This is done by taking a front camera and back camera photo at the same time. It's intended to be more authentic than the stories you see on other apps where people pretend their lives are much cooler than they actually are. People think that BeReal is a kind of cultural rebellion against traditional social media, but they're wrong. BeReal isn't trying to capture the market share of the big giants like Instagram that want you to be on their platform 24/7. The BeReal founders recognize how valuable even 2 minutes per day of your time is. With a valuation north of 600 million, they are proving what we already know, that habitual distraction is valuable no matter how short. Even video content has gone to short form, and that's for two major reasons. Our attention span is worse, and it allows algorithms to test more content on the viewer, increasing the chances of you being distracted. Do you think it's honestly healthy for our minds to be constantly fed random pieces of information in 10-second intervals? Of course not. For some, 10-second videos are not distracting enough, and you'll see videos being split with gameplay of mobile apps like Subway Surfers just to keep your attention a little longer.
Man, you are one pathetic loser. No offense.
The goal of any app or social network is to keep you on the platform for as long as possible. Therefore, they are actively trying to not feed you direct answers. If you want to search for how to do something or information about a topic, it's in the app's own interest to not provide you a simple solution that causes you to no longer use the app. Instead, they will fill you with something fairly relevant, but not perfect, then suggest highly relevant content to keep your attention. What could have been a quick answer has turned into a 3-hour scrolling binge of useless but entertaining content. Now that it is common for children to have smartphones, they're growing up in a world where it seems reasonable to be always hyper-connected to each other. Big tech is so adamant about replicating our real lives because they can monetize your attention and control your feed of information. What happened to the simplistic joy of being present in a moment? Unfortunately, there's no money in that. The next step might be the metaverse, which is designed in the hopes that they can emulate real life for the purpose of controlling and manipulating what you see and hear for big profits. Looking at the evolution of apps becoming more addicting over time, think about how dangerous the next TikTok could be. Are we going to rebel against it, regulate it, or become slave to it? Not being able to focus as an individual is an annoyance, but not being able to focus as a society is actually pretty dangerous. It's no secret that we as a society are divided based on numerous factors that shape our individual identities. Our increasing lack of societal focus means that it's harder to mobilize together to resolve issues. Instead, we segregate to distractions that have been fed to us by algorithms. In today's world, there is always a second opinion that seems equally valid to some. This is not necessarily due to its reasonableness, but due to its controversy having viral capacity. Think of any trending issue and come up with two completely different conclusions to solve this issue. Now, have the algorithm only feed information that supports conclusion number 1 to an audience, then have the same algorithm send to a separate audience information that supports conclusion number 2. Obviously, those two different audiences will be divided on this topic, but the reason they were provided two different feeds of information could have been decided on trivial pieces of your watch history that is completely unrelated to this issue. Just like that, we as a society are distracted from resolving the original issue and created new ones. These algorithms are basically deciding your viewpoint on anything without your consent because they feed only the information it thinks you want to see and doesn't allow you to see the entire scope of the argument. These algorithms also benefit from negativity bias. It knows that angry and upsetting words make people more engaged, so they push negative content to more people. These algorithms have us fighting with one another simply to increase watch time. The medium is the message, and we start to resemble the mediums we receive information from. As we compete for smaller chunks of attention in every facet of life, you need to recognize just how valuable your own attention is. Don't just sell it to the highest bidder or give it to the easiest trap. Use it wisely. Don't forget to subscribe so I can steal your attention in the future.